All right, let me ask you something. You ever felt like a conversation with a girl went perfectly fine? Everything seemed cool, and then out of nowhere she just went cold? Like the vibe shifted and you have no idea why. You're sitting there replaying the whole thing like, what did I say? What did I do? And the worst part is, you genuinely don't know. Here's the truth, bro. She didn't go cold because of what you said. She went cold because of how you reacted. And the reason you don't know what happened is because you didn't even realize you were being tested in the first place. See, women test men, not because they're manipulative, not because they're playing games, but because their instincts are wired to figure out who you actually are before they let themselves feel something for you. They can't just turn that off. It's automatic. And the crazy part? Most of the time, even they don't consciously know they're doing it. These tests aren't dramatic, they're not obvious. They're woven right into normal conversation. A look, a comment, a moment of silence. And if you don't know what to look for, you'll keep failing them without ever knowing you failed. So, in this video, I'm breaking down 7 of the most common ways women test men, what each test is actually checking for, and exactly how a grounded, confident man responds. By the end of this, you're going to look back at certain moments in your past and think, oh, that was a test, and I completely failed it. Let's get into it. Number 1. She cancels last minute and watches how you react. You've been looking forward to this all week. You had a plan. And then an hour before, she texts, hey, something came up. Can we reschedule? And here's where most guys blow it immediately. Either they get visibly upset, start guilt-tripping her, go passive-aggressive, or they go full doormat and say, oh, no worries at all. Whenever you want, I'll be here. Both of those reactions fail. Here's what she's actually checking for: emotional stability. She wants to know if a small inconvenience destabilizes you. Because if canceling a date throws you off, what happens when real life gets hard? The grounded response? No drama, no desperation. All good, let me know when you're free. That's it. Clean, calm, no resentment. You're not angry, you're not a pushover, you're just a man with a life who can handle a schedule change like an adult. That energy, that's what she's looking for. Number 2. She says something like, I bet you say that to every girl. This one catches guys completely off guard. You give her a genuine compliment or make a real observation about her, and she hits you with that line. And most guys immediately fold. They go into defensive mode. No, 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 I actually mean it. I'm serious. I promise. I don't do that. Bro, stop. The second you start defending yourself, you already lost. Because what that test is checking for is simple. Do you need her approval to feel secure? A man who folds under that kind of light pressure is a man she can't trust to hold his ground when things get real. The calm response? You smile, you hold eye contact, and you say something like, nah, but now you're curious, aren't you? Then you move on. You don't explain, you don't apologize, you stay in your lane. That's confidence, not arrogance, confidence, and it hits different. Number 3, she goes quiet mid-conversation and just looks at you. This one is subtle but deadly. You're talking, the vibe is good, and then suddenly she just stops. She gets quiet, she looks at you, no expression, no words, just silence. And for most guys, this silence feels like a vacuum. Their brain goes into panic mode. They start filling it. They ramble, they crack a nervous joke. They ask, what, did I say something wrong? What she's testing here is simple. Are you comfortable with silence, or does discomfort make you unravel? Because a man who can't handle a quiet moment without spiraling is a man who's emotionally fragile, and emotional fragility is not attractive. The move here is to do nothing. Hold the eye contact, maybe give a slow, easy smile, let the silence breathe. You're not uncomfortable, you're not anxious, you're just present. And that stillness, that ability to just exist in a moment without needing to perform, that is one of the most attractive things a man can project. Number 4, she mentions another guy. Pay attention to this one because this is probably the most common test and the one most guys fail in the most dramatic way possible. She casually drops a guy's name into the conversation, an ex, a friend, some guy at work who's apparently so funny, and she watches your face. Most guys either go obviously uncomfortable, get quiet and stiff, or they try to play it off in a way that's so forced it makes it worse. And some guys go the other direction. They immediately try to compete. They start subtly talking themselves up or asking probing questions about this other dude. Here's the truth. She doesn't care about that other guy nearly as much as she cares about how you respond to hearing about him. She's checking your security. Can you hear another man's name without losing your composure? A man who is secure in himself doesn't feel threatened by another man's existence. Respond like someone who has zero reason to feel threatened, because you don't. Engage with what she's saying normally, maybe even say something like, "Sounds like a solid guy," and then move on. No flinching, no competing, just total calm. That is masculine security, and she will feel it immediately. Number 5, she hits you with, "I don't know, you seem like a player." This one is a direct test of your frame. She's throwing a label at you and watching to see if you pick it up and start defending yourself. And the moment you go into explanation mode, "No, I actually mean it. I'm serious. I promise. I don't do that." Bro, stop. The second you start defending yourself, you already lost. Because what that test is checking for is simple. Do you need her approval to feel secure? A man who folds under that kind of light pressure is a man she can't trust to hold his ground when things get real. The calm response? You smile, you hold eye contact, and you say something like, "Nah, but now you're curious, aren't you?" Then you move on. You don't explain, you don't apologize, you stay in your lane. That's confidence. Not arrogance, confidence. And it hits different. Number 6, she takes a long time to reply and then watches your follow-up. She's seen your message, maybe she even left you on read. An hour goes by, 2 hours, and then comes the real test, not her response, but what you do while waiting for it. A lot of guys double text, "Hey, did you see this? You okay? Everything good?" Or worse, they go cold and passive-aggressive when she finally replies. Bro, she's checking if her attention is the thing your whole day revolves around. And if you triple text in a panic or hit her with a dry, one-word response to punish her for taking long, you've just told her everything she needed to know. Your emotional state depends on her, and that's not a man she wants to rely on. The grounded approach is to simply not react to the timeline. Live your life. When she replies, reply when you actually have something worth saying. Not immediately, not after 48 hours of strategic silence, just naturally. When you're busy, you're busy. When you're free, you engage. Simple, real, attractive. Number 7. This is the big one. Most guys completely miss this one. She starts pulling back slightly and watching if you chase. Things were going great. There was momentum, she was engaged, and then out of nowhere, her energy cools down a little. She's a bit less enthusiastic, replies become shorter, she's not as available, and she watches carefully to see what you do next. Most guys panic. They start over-texting. They ask, "Is everything okay between us?" They try to ramp up the effort to pull her back in. And the second they do that, she loses the thing she was actually attracted to, the version of you that wasn't chasing. Here's what she's really testing. Do you need her validation to feel okay? Or are you rooted enough in yourself that a shift in her energy doesn't knock you off balance? Because a man with real inner security doesn't change his behavior based on a woman pulling back slightly. He stays exactly who he is. He keeps living. He keeps engaging naturally when the moment calls for it. He doesn't chase. And here's the thing nobody talks about. When she pulls back and you don't chase, she often comes right back. Because suddenly she's the one wondering why you're not running after her. And that curiosity, that's attraction being rebuilt in real time. Look, here's the bottom line. Women aren't testing you because they're trying to trap you. They're testing you because they're trying to find out if you're the real thing. They've dealt with guys who perform confidence, who fake stability, who pretend to be grounded and then collapse the second there's any friction. They're looking for a man who is actually solid, not perfectly, not all the time, but consistently in the moments that matter. And now that you know what these tests look like, you're not going into these moments blind anymore. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay calm, stay grounded, and stop letting her reactions determine your energy. Because the man who passes these tests without even trying, he doesn't pass them because he's already built himself into someone who doesn't need external approval to feel okay. That's the guy she wants. Become that guy.
And if you want to know how to actually build that kind of grounded energy from the ground up, I made a full video on the habits that make women notice you immediately. The daily things, the small shifts, the non-verbal stuff that changes how women see you before you even open your mouth. That video is exactly where you need to go next. Go watch it.